What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and disappointed. I'm disappointed because at the beginning of the day, kind of not really sure what to expect. We're coming off of a long trip to Karabag in midweek. We had one less day of rest. We had some players that are returning to the team that didn't play, but then we have a lot of players that were involved midweek. So it's kind of a question of what's going to happen today. And so if you'd asked me at the beginning of the day, would you take a draw? I'd say, you know what? Yeah, I prefer to get a win because we know all the other top teams probably going to get some points this week. Man U won early on. Man City probably going to win tomorrow. So, yeah, you want to keep 3 points so you can keep in the title race, especially because December's right around the corner, and that's where teams really start dropping points, especially those in the title race. So you want to keep close so that way when they do drop points, now you're getting there. So staying 8 points behind Man City is important. But now at the end of the week, you're going to be possibly 10 points behind them. And what's frustrating about that is that overall, we were the better team. I know people are going to claim, no, Liverpool were the better team because, they had more possession, they controlled the game more. We had the best chances. It really easily could have been 3 or 4. It could have been 2-0 in the first half, and then it could have been 3-0 early on in the second. And so, we're missing all of these key chances. We're creating the best chances, though, and we're defending so solidly. Liverpool did control a lot of the game, but you know what? We defended well. They only had one good chance in the first half. A solid bending effort. He was off balance even then. So defensively, we were solid. It took one mistake, a lapse of concentration between Bakayoko and Cahill to finally let them in, and that's when they get their goal. And now all of a sudden, they're like, all right, let's just hold on. So now we've got to turn up the pressure. It takes a lucky chip from Willian because nothing was coming off for us today up top. Sometimes that's just what it takes, And so you kind of look at it, and it took a lucky goal from them. It took a lucky goal from us. It's frustrating because we had the better run of play. We had the better chances. We were creating the better chances, but we couldn't finish it off. And so to end in a 1-1 draw is just kind of like, if we put our chances away, we could have easily won that game. So let's talk about individual performances. First of all, Tebow in goal. Had a couple moments. There was the one Sturridge chance. It was easily heading wide, and then Courtois, it gets up under his arm. He should have easily collected it. It gets up under his arm and spins a little bit closer to the post. So, yeah, not really sure what happened there. Maybe a lapse of concentration. But overall, he was solid. He made some good saves later on to sort of make up for that. On the goal, you prefer to see him come out a little bit, not necessarily bigger, but a little bit lower to the ground because somebody like Salah, you've got Azpilicueta sliding in, so he's going to likely go to the far post on the other side of you. So you can read that situation. If he tries to cut it back, Azpilicueta's there, so try to cheat a little bit this way, and on top of that, get a little bit lower. Because if you know Salah, he's not somebody that's going to try a chip there. He's not that type of player. He is generally somebody who's just going to slot it in, try to find the corner. So get nice and low. That's just obviously in a game-like situation, all those thoughts may not be running through your head. It's a split-second decision. You got to decide quickly, are you going to go high, are you going to go low? In that moment, he chose to go high when he should have gone low. And so it's just up under his arm and into the corner. So unfortunate there, but it's still one of those things where, once again, I'm saying he's not making those saves. He's not making those crucial saves. It's their first shot on target, and it's a goal. Those are the type of saves that you expect a keeper like him to be making at least half of them, and lately he hasn't been making any of them. So I'm a little bit frustrated with that, but overall he had to make some crucial saves at the end to sort of keep us in the game. So I'd say on the whole, an average game from him. Azpilicueta on the right, in my opinion, was he our best player? I'm trying to think about everybody in there. He was one of our 3 best players today. Just overall, really, really solid. Not many mistakes from him, if any. And defensively, just constantly doing what he does. He's putting pressure. He's closing down people. One of the things about Liverpool, they are a very good attacking team. Espilicueta made them look like they had never attacked before in their life because they hardly had a chance, and a lot of it was down to him making great breaking runs in behind or in front of the attacking player. I mean, there were several chances where you're thinking, all right, well, Coutinho or Salah are through, and here comes Espilicueta, and he just pokes it away. So, yeah, in my opinion, another great game from him. I'm glad to see that he's back to his best because it seemed sort of shaky at the beginning of the season. He seemed a bit off, but now he's definitely back to what I've come to expect from him. Christensen in the middle, one of our best three players also. I mean, just our defense today was solid, and those two had a lot to do with it. You know, Espilicueta making those great runs to close down the attacking player, Christensen doing a great job of picking out anything in the middle, closing down Sturridge, and then later on Salah as well. I mean, he is just so confident. And I love having somebody in there like that. I love having such a cool, collected defender in the middle because I feel safe. You know, it's whenever they're coming in from the sides, especially Cahill's side, that I feel nervous. But when they're in the middle, I'm just like, you know what? Christensen's there. He'll step in, he'll poke it away. And that's what happened most of the time. I mean, he is such a good defender, and I'm glad that we found not only a good defender, but a good young defender. Because that means we've got so many years with him going forward. He is proving that he can do it at a high level every week, and I hope that, you know, obviously David Luiz hasn't featured in the Premier League for a few games. Christensen's had a lot to do with that. He's been playing that well. You don't really need David Luiz in there because he's actually playing better than him. So, yeah, great game from him. And then lastly, Cahill. Normally he's the one that I'm ranting and raving about, but aside from that one little mistake, you know, it wasn't mostly his fault. It was partially his fault because realistically he should be turned on to see, you know, I need to be giving depth whenever Baka missed the ball across. He should be reading that situation. You know, even if Bakayoko does get the ball, provide depth so that way he can pass it back to you and you can get it out. But instead, he's standing at the top of the box, so whenever Bakayoko misses the ball and then Oxlade-Chamberlain pokes it, Salah's making the run in, Cahill's not ready for it, and he's beat. So, yeah, that one mistake was a little frustrating. And then aside from that, defensively, he was okay. You know, I thought he did a good job overall, made some good blocks, put himself in good positions. A little bit naive at times, which is frustrating coming from the captain just because you should know who you're facing. In the first half, whenever Salah was on his side, I was really nervous. He did a good job of being there, you know, putting pressure on him, but their best chance came from you're standing up, you're standing him up, you're standing behind him, keep him off his left foot. But instead, he tries to nip in, which allows Salah to now turn him, and now he's on his left foot and has a good shot towards the back post. You should know who you're facing. Salah, that's what he does. He tries to get on that left foot. He tries to put in a curler towards the back post. That's the type of player he is. That's what he did last week. That's what he does most every week. He tries to get on that left foot and curl it. Keep him off the left foot. And so to see him reaching in, allowing him to turn him and get in on his left foot, kind of frustrating. So defensively, he was back and forth, but overall, he did okay. He put himself in good positions. My frustration with him today was kind of similar to a lot of my frustration with him last year. Too much on the ball. You know, just too many chances. And honestly, he wasn't the only one today. There are quite a few that I'll mention this for. But yeah, too much on the ball. There's one moment where he's got the ball, he's won it in the corner, in our corner, get it out. But instead, he tries to dribble, and then it gets poked off of him, and now Liverpool have the ball again, and they're coming back at us. Should have had a goal early on, brings it off his chest well. Instead of using his left foot, he tries to Rabona, or he fakes a Rabona, and now all of a sudden, he's lost the ball. So, yeah, I don't know, just little frustrations here and there with him, but overall not as bad as I normally think he does. Overall, I would say average game from him. Alonso on the left side, definitely a little bit more frustration with, just because it felt like a lot of chances were wasted with him. You know, and I felt this recently with him because he gets himself into good positions, but then doesn't really do much with it. And that's frustrating. You know, you expect him whenever he's in these good positions in a ton of space, put in a good cross, find a good pass. He doesn't. It's a terrible cross. It's a pass to the defense. He tries to cut and then just kicks it off the defender. So, yeah, not enough from him. And then defensively, you know, just got beat in behind too many times. You know that they've got speed on the wings. You know that they're going to send in Salah or Gomez going down the wings. Be there. put yourself in a good position so whenever they try to go that way, you've already got the beat on them and you're already there poking the ball away, either out of bounds or you're just winning it. But it felt like he always stepped in and then they started going this way and he wasn't quick enough to turn and go. He was just kind of like, oh no, and then had to turn around and then at that point they're in behind. So defensively, attacking, probably I would say our second worst player today. Zappacosta on the other side had some good moments. He definitely puts himself in some dangerous positions, and we almost benefited off of several of them. Good crosses in, just nobody getting on the end of it, and that was frustrating. And I can imagine it's frustrating for him because he's putting in. He put in two great crosses in the second half. One over Bakayoko, Murata's there, but it gets poked away from him, and then the second one, Bakayoko's there, doesn't really try for it, and so a defender gets up above him and heads it away. I mean, just dangerous positions, but nobody's there. So I can imagine it's very frustrating. The other thing I thought he did very well was providing help defensively. That's one of those things that he hasn't done great this season. He's done okay. But today, really called upon to have to get back, marking the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain, the likes of Coutinho. He really has to put himself into those defensive positions, and he did it. So, yeah, I was impressed with him overall today. Into the middle, you got Conte, who, in my opinion, not as effective as he normally is, but still easily one of the hardest workers I've seen. Just constantly moving around, putting pressure on people. The only reason it wasn't as effective today is because Liverpool had so many people in the midfield, and that's why they were able to control it. And that's where, Bakayoko, Danny Drinkwater, they've got to do better at helping in there. Because, Bakayoko, he doesn't really defend that well. If he's near the ball, he'll put in a good defensive challenge, but he's not like Conte, who's constantly moving, trying to pick off the ball or trying to intercept a pass. He's always just hanging out. Oh, the ball's near me. Well, I'll go now. So I want to see a little bit more defensive work from him. Drinkwater, not the greatest defensive midfielder. He's good. But I think he's got a little bit overall. He's just an overall good player. So I expect to see a little bit of defensive work from him. And for the most part, he kind of stayed up today. So Conte was sort of alone in there for a lot of the first half especially. So, yeah, it's one of those things where he tries to do too much and it shows. Whenever he's trying to defend three people at once, that's where it's just like, all right, you can't do that. And he just gets run around several times and passed around. So I want to see a little bit more help from the other midfielders just because we've got three in there. We should be controlling the midfield, but there wasn't enough work ethic today to control the midfield, and that's the frustrating part about it. Drinkwater, I thought, played pretty well today. He was more, like I said, focused on attacking and probably should have had a goal. There was one point Conte brilliantly played him in, perfectly weighted pass. In my opinion, toe poke it. Try to toe poke it, try to just get it past Mignolet, but instead he tried to poke it around him to keep going. And Mignolet, it wasn't enough of a poke, and so Mignolet was able to bounce it off of him and out for a goal kick. But I think if he had actually tried to poke it for a shot, I think he may have had a better chance of at least getting a corner out of it. But aside from that, he was helping a lot in the attack, getting in good positions, helping to counterattack as well. Set up a really good chance for Hazard in the first half. Second half, though, kind of faded out a little bit, so no surprise that Fabregas came in for him. But, for the first half, especially being your first start in the Premier League since coming back from the injury, it was a good overall performance from him. I just want to see a little bit more defensive work just because we need somebody back there helping out Conte. Bakayoko, for me, was our worst player today. Just defensively, like I said, sort of hanging out, not really helping out Conte, not putting himself in good position to nick the ball. Felt like he was sort of jogging around too much today. Had 3 or 4 chances that he should have put away, but he's on his heels. He's not ready for it. One of the biggest chances you have, Liverpool's struggling to get it out. It's bouncing around. They're kicking it off of each other. One goes right past him, and he's just standing there. He's like, oh, well, I guess we don't have it. Oh, no, there goes the ball. I should have been ready for that. That frustrates me. And he did it 3 times in the box. That's what I can remember, at least. I can think of 3, but there were probably a couple more where it's just like, you're there, you're in the box, be ready. be ready to move, be ready to get there, be ready to put something on it. But instead he's just on his heels, hanging out. Oh, they've got the ball now. Oh, we've got the ball. Oh, it's too late. The ball's already gone. I wasn't ready. That's frustrating. And especially because he's also the one that made the mistake that led to their goal. That's frustrating. Our defense did a great job of the entire game just putting them off, making sure they didn't have a lot of good chances. And then you're lazy, you just stick out a foot instead of putting yourself there, making sure you're getting the ball away. You stick out a foot and it rolls up under your foot and allows Oxlade-Chamberlain to poke it through to Salah. That's not good enough. And I realize he's a young player. I realize he's still this is his first year in the Premier League, so I shouldn't be that harsh. But at the same time, we've seen more from him. We've seen that he can do it. We've seen that he can do it at this level. I've seen him do this. I've seen him play well. So the fact that now he's not playing well in this game where it's extremely important, that's kind of frustrating. You turn off in an important match like that, that's not good enough. So I'm really frustrated with him today. I think that we need somebody who's going to be consistent in there, and in my opinion, that consistency wasn't there today. He turned off in crucial moments, could have helped us on the attack, defensively, and didn't help us in either. So he's the player I'm most frustrated with him today. It is the first game that I've been this frustrated with him, so I'll give him that. He's played well up until now, but that just sort of irks me even more to know that he has the ability to play well. And so in a game like this, where we're playing one of the top 4 challengers, and we're playing away from home, and we can get 3 points today, he doesn't show up. He's not there mentally. He gives away a goal and then doesn't help us out in the attack either. Then we get up into the top 2. Hazard, Morata definitely gave it their all. Created a lot of chances. Probably should have buried a couple of them. I will say of the 2, Morata was definitely less involved. It felt like they were focused a little bit more on putting him off, putting in strong challenges. So, it did seem like he wasn't as involved as he normally is. But I do think a lot of that is down to the fact that the referee was kind of letting him, just whatever they wanted to do. Because Klavan put in a strong challenge on a couple that I thought were easily supposed to be fouls, and the ref's not calling anything today. So, a little bit frustrating for him, but I do think he played pretty well today. He worked hard, he moved around, tried to open up spaces. I think one of the things that would have helped him is if there were a little bit more distribution from the middle. Drinkwater tried a couple times, but for the most part, he didn't have that same quality of pass that Fabregas does. And so whenever Fabregas came on in the second half, you could see them trying to create it, but at that point, Liverpool, were just sitting in, trying to make sure that pass wasn't on, and so, it came off one time for Alonso, but for the most part, it wasn't there. As far as Hazard is concerned, I thought he played well for the most part. I thought he was our most dangerous player up top, but I still think there were a lot of moments where I'm frustrated because he's not giving the ball up. It's just the pass is there. Yeah, you're a great dribbler, I understand that, but the pass is there. Give the ball and then move. It felt like he was trying to do too much on his own today, and that's pretty frustrating because, all you got to do is pass around Liverpool, and they're just chasing. And that's where our best moments of play came, was whenever we were passing and moving, because they can't handle that. Their defense is just following the ball. They're not following players. They're just running, and you just got to pass, and then a chance opens up. So, I'm a little bit frustrated that he's a couple of the players I was talking about, kind of like with Cahill. Just too much on the ball. Alonso is another one I'll say, and Zappacosta had his moments as well, that they needed to give up the ball, and then they didn't, and then they give away the ball, and now all of a sudden they're back at us. And the frustrating thing about that is we're playing against Liverpool, who we know is really good at counterattack. They've got a ton of speed up top, so don't give the ball away cheaply. If you're going to give it away, let it be a throw-in, let it be a goal kick, but don't just give it away. And it felt like we were just giving it away, and that's why they controlled most of the game. That's why they had the most possession. Thankfully, they weren't able to turn that possession into much for most of the game, but it's frustrating that they were allowed to control the game because we just kept giving it away, dribbling into pressure, bad passes. It's simple. It's a simple game if you make it simple. And they weren't making it simple today. They were trying difficult stuff. They were trying to dribble through players. And that's why Liverpool looked the better team today because we were creating our own problems. We were giving them the ball, letting them counterattack on us, and that's what Liverpool want to do. So, yeah, frustrated there with Hazard, but overall, I still think he created so many chances. On the balance of it, I say he still had a good game just because he was our most dangerous player up top. He was creating a lot of problems for the defense. Most of the time, they were having to put 2 or 3 players on him, which opens up space for other people. So, yeah, I'm not going to be too disappointed with Hazard, just a little frustrated with some of the moments today. And then as far as the subs that came on, first one came on was Fabregas. I thought he should have come on a few minutes before the goal happened for them because, I mean, frankly, we needed him. We weren't keeping possession in the midfield. It felt like every time we tried to get it in the midfield, we're giving it away. Drinkwater was looking exhausted. Bakayoko, like I said, not having a good game. I thought he should have come on 60th minute. Didn't happen. Goal happens, and now Liverpool are sitting in deeper. And so at that point, now he's not as effective. Pedro was the next one to come on for Bakayoko. At that point, like I said, Bakayoko not having a good game. So Pedro comes on, provides us a bit more attacking option as well. And on top of that, he works very hard to win the ball back. So not necessarily a great performance from him. He tried a little too much on the ball at times, gave away the ball in a couple dangerous positions as well. But, I'll say he did do his job very well as far as, working hard and making sure that they didn't have time on the ball. And then Willian comes on and gets himself a lucky goal, but, he worked hard for it. He's a player that always works hard whenever he's on the field. I've had my issues with him this season, but I think he's a player that is a good hard worker for you. Anytime you put him out there, he's going to work hard to win the ball back. He's going to work hard to keep the ball. Now, the quality of his passes, the quality of his shots sometimes isn't good enough, but I still think he is a player that is useful coming off the bench to provide some defensive work ethic and also to provide some, just hard work overall and fresh legs. So I think he's still a valuable player even if he hasn't had a good season so far. But, like I said, it's just one of those things where it took a lucky goal for us today. We had so many chances. We should have finished so many chances. But it takes probably a mishit cross from Willian, but sometimes that's just how the game goes. So overall, like I said, I'm disappointed because on the whole, we were the better team. We created the best chances. They didn't create any chances until near the end of the game whenever they're pushing for a late winner. I mean, honestly, they had one chance before then, and it led to a goal, and that's frustrating. Aside from that, it was just shots from outside the box. It was passing into the defense, and we're clearing it. They just could not break us down in the final third. It took one defensive mistake, and then it's a goal. And that's frustrating to know that it just took once. And then on top of that, like I said, just so many chances for us that we couldn't finish. We had 5 corners in the first half, all of them bouncing around dangerously in the box, and we just don't finish it. We don't put it away. Yeah, on the whole of it, we should have finished our chances and put us up 2-0 in the first half, and then this game isn't a problem anymore. But we don't. We let them in, and then we got to get a late equalizer, and that's why this draw was so frustrating for me, is because we should have been on top. But anyway, that's it for me, so let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.